A lot of people say just shoot more rolls and you will get better. Well, I tried that and I mostly just made the same mistakes over and over. I realized practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes permanent. I was shooting more, but I wasn't getting better. I was just making the same mistakes more expensively. What's helped me way more than just shooting non-stop is actually stopping and reviewing what I'm doing. In this video, I'll walk you through the simple 3-step way I look at my own photos to spot the little patterns that keep turning up in my frames. This isn't a pro-level gear or settings breakdown. This is just a simple system that I've been implementing to look at every roll and waste less film. And if you are trying to figure this out, this might be helpful. Before I show you the system, let's just take a step back, because if you're anything like me, you're wondering, why does this even matter? Why try to improve with photography if the whole point of this thing is to slow down? That's a fair question, and for a while I wasn't sure of the answer myself. I would shoot a roll, get the results, be disappointed in the results, load another roll and hope for the best. But after a couple of rolls, I realized I wasn't getting better at my photography. I was getting better at ignoring my patterns. And that started to bother me because photography, film photography, was never about the photos. It's about something much, much deeper. It's about how it forces me to move through life a little bit slower. Film feels more like a practice than a hobby. It's a way to slow down. It's meditative, it's reflective, and that's the actual skill that I'm trying to learn. So I designed a simple system that forces me to recognize recurring patterns. It forces me to reflect and ask, why did I take the frames that I did? So here it is, a 3-step review system that you can use in 30 minutes whenever you get your scans back. Step 1, look at the whole roll, not just the best photos. Step 2, recognize patterns and mistakes that you're making through the whole roll. And step 3, create simple rules that you can carry into your next rule. It's that simple. When my scans come in, I don't start with the hero shots. I start with a zoomed out view, all frames equal, no reviews, no ratings, just an honest review of what I did with 36 chances. We're not judging yet, we're just seeing. Right away, a couple of things pop out to me on this roll. I can see that I'm standing too far away from my subjects. I notice nice environments, but no clear subject or anchor to the picture. And I can see busy or distracting backgrounds that kind of compete for attention. The goal of this first pass is just to get an honest appraisal of your habits. It's not about choosing the good photos and the bad photos. It's about asking, what do I do when I have a camera in my hand? In this step, I'm not looking for good or bad photos. I'm looking for patterns that keep repeating between pictures. The first thing I noticed, I'm often just too far away. A lot of these frames are about places more than moments. The peoples, the signs, the details that I really care about are really small in the frames. Take this one, for example. This was on a day that we visited my parents. She's the headmaster of a school, and she showed us a tour of the school. And I took this photo while we were walking across the school grounds. I love that you can see my dad and my wife and my 2 kids, but this isn't a special photo. I mean, I think if I could just walk a couple of steps closer and cropped it a bit closer in on the entrance of that building and have all the characters in there with the roses framing the picture, I think this would be a much better composition and make for a much better photo. Or this one, we were walking in the park and there was this beautiful path leading down the side of the lake, which was almost like a tunnel with all the plants. And I'm so disappointed that I didn't get a closer shot of my family here. They're almost like washed out. You can't really see details of this photo. You can't see my 2 kids in the wagon at the back. This photo would be so much better if I were to get closer. It would be such a better monument to this moment if I were to frame it up a little bit better. The second pattern is there are a lot of nicely exposed scenes of streets and stuff, but there's only a few true moments that stand out. In many of these photos, it looks fine. It's well exposed and composed. There's just nothing happening in the photo. There's no subject. Like this one, for example, I think it's a beautiful scene. You've got the grass in the foreground, the city in the background, these nice flowers in the foreground. But if I were to wait 5 to 10 minutes for somebody to walk on this road and take a photo of that, that would make this picture. This is boring. This is average. This doesn't document anything. The same with this one. There's such a cool opportunity with that arrow at the parking sign pointing down to point to something there. I think your eye would immediately go to the steps, somebody walking there. So if we were to wait a couple of minutes and just wait for a subject, this photo would be awesome. But now it's just nice. It's fine. The same with this one. This is a beautiful photo. I think it's an awesome frame you have here of all the buildings and the leading lines up to the building. But there's nothing happening in this photo. What does this photo document? Not much. Looking at the roll like this, I realized that I press the shutter when something looks nice. Instead of waiting a while to get a gesture or a moment or something that happens or a character that passes through. The third pattern is actually my backgrounds. They're doing a lot of shouting. There's a lot going on here. Take this one as an example. I think this is a nice photo. I don't think it's badly lit. I think the exposure is nice. I like the colors. But my eye isn't being drawn to something because there's this tunnel in the background that's taking your eye into it with the trees and the road, and it's distracting from the main point of the picture, which is Gerdes, which is my friend in the foreground. Same with this one, which is a picture in my study, and I loved the light of this morning. I loved how the light was coming through. I loved the mood of this picture, but there's that trolley in the background, the white trolley, and the halfly badly framed pot in the foreground, which just makes this picture messy. I realize on the day I see something that I like and I take a picture of that, but then I get the scans back and I see the background is actually shouting for attention and pulling my eye away from the thing that I really like. The pattern here is I don't always clean up my shot before I shoot. So as you look at your own role, just try and identify 1 or 2 or 3 things that you see as patterns and try and use simple language. I stay too far away, I take boring shots, stuff like that. Because when we know what we're doing wrong, only then can we improve on it. And now finally we convert the patterns that we see in this roll of film into practical rules that we take into the next. For this roll of film, for me, the rules are: 1, if I like something and I want to take a picture of it, I stand closer, I get closer to my subject. I give myself 10 extra seconds to compose the shot better. 2, if I see a nice place or nice environment, I don't just take that photo, I wait a minute or 2 for something interesting to happen. If something interesting doesn't happen, I look for something interesting in the scene and capture that with the scene as the background. 3, I expand my vision from just the subject to whatever's going on around the scene. In a previous video, I shared that sometimes you have to look at the 4 frames of your viewfinder or the 4 edges of your viewfinder just to see if you're including something that shouldn't be there. I'm still struggling with that, so I'll be doing that from now on. When I see something, I'll just look around that thing for anything that's distracting or taking my attention. Over time, I'm hoping that these tiny rules will help me see life differently. And the next time I get scans back, I'm not just asking, did I take amazing photos? I'm asking, have I learned something? Have I been present enough with myself to notice what I'm doing? So if you are sitting there frustrated and thinking of buying 5 more rolls just to brute force yourself into being better, maybe don't. Take the roles you already have, just look through them, look for patterns, create tiny rules that you can carry into your next role, and be intentional about capturing only those rules. If this helped you see your own mistakes a bit differently, I would love for you to stick around for just a minute. I've got another video where I take you along for my first photo walk with a friend with my grandfather's Canon FT, and I share some of the results from that first roll of film, and more importantly, I share 4 lessons that I learned as a beginner film photographer. You can watch that video next, and if you like this type of slow, honest photography content, consider subscribing and we can learn this craft together. I love that you are joining me for the journey. Here's to fewer shots and fuller moments.